Welcome to the History Man channel. Welcome to a snowy Krakow. What I'm just about to show you, I did today. I went on a tour of Kazimierz in Krakow. It wasn't snowing, but it was very cold. You could tell the sky was actually full of snow. And it's a very interesting tour. It's actually a free tour. It's called the Free Walking Tour. I'll have all the details below if you ever want to take it. The tour guide was excellent. His name was Jack. And I'd just like to thank him very much if he watches this. And big up respect to the free walking tours. They're all over Poland. They're excellent. Highly recommend it. I went to the ghetto. Saw loads of different ancient synagogues. And if you've seen the movie Schinders List, and you know, powerful movie, he tells you about that. You see some of the areas where they filmed, and some of the real areas where the real scenes of the film happened, because the film isn't exactly historically true. And of course, Schindler's factory. We ended the tour there, and Oskar Schindler wasn't such an angel as he is portrayed to be. So, enjoy.
You saw this place in the Schindler's List. You remember the scene? Suitcases.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
All the process, unfortunately, going on the renovation now. There is a scene which was much longer. Lady and the girl, both of them try to hide on the first floor of this building.
A little boy.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But first, like, lady left the daughter upstairs. She walked the stairs there, and then here she meets a small boy in the uniform of the Jewish police. So Jenny was guarding the ghetto. Outside, you had SS, Germany, and from other countries. You'd have, unfortunately, also Polish policemen in some cases. Inside, you had the Jewish police. Collaboration force. Many of them were Albert henchmen as the Nazis, but they had a mascot, a pet. This was this boy. So they told him to, they gave him small uniform, he was saluting with them, and they told him to search for the people who are still hiding. He saw the lady coming down, he started to whistle, and then he found out he knows her already. Quick decision, hide under the stairs, and, well, he saved her alive that way, and we know that it happened. You already know that not in this place, but on another side. What was correct, that both this district, including the ghetto, had these balconies around, that kind of long courtyard, so at least this thing was right.
Where are the actual stairs?
Actual stairs. This would be one of the houses close to Optima factory in the ghetto, but I must say we'll not go around there.
No.
Vera Gran, she was a singer, cabaret and thing, and she was considered by many people a Nazi collaborator.
Really?
Yeah, but lately there was a book which said there was lies about her, and Spielmann, you know, as far as I remember from this book, Spielmann knew about it and he didn't even try to correct it, to help her. So that was, you know, after the movie, which when I read about this book and some things, it's really stricken me. Because I imagine him was slightly different. Mm. Maybe he had some reasons, maybe he was not sure. And also it's like, you know, very fresh story with this Vera Gran.
Yeah.
Her name was. But Jenny, the book is very good. The
film
movie
is
very...
it's a very powerful movie.
Yeah.
But, just like Schindler's, obviously, but...
I must say, the scene when you have these Nazis which are going around the ghetto, they are throwing this man through the window.
Oh, that's
and it's like
horrendous. Really nasty stuff, that is. I can't believe they actually did that to people.
Yeah, when I was after that, actually, I was reading Illyrians, because Warsaw is like, it's an interesting story, but it's not my city, so I was usually reading about Krakow.
Yeah.
But there was an SS man in Warsaw called Frankenstein. Everybody were afraid of him, because he was just entering the ghetto and randomly shooting at people, you know, thing like that. He's shown in the
like Among Us.
I like Among Us.
Yeah.
Was
it Frankenstein?
Frankenstein. He had nickname Frankenstein. I don't remember his name now. But there's a very famous photo, I think one of the most famous photos from Second World War, when you have a Jewish boy which is walking like there, and behind him there's SS man with Schmeisser. This is Frankenstein exactly. Joseph, I don't remember how, something. very interesting story. I think Soviets caught him in the 1960s and
Siberia.
no, they shot him.
They
He was
executed.
executed.
Fascinating.
It is exactly. It's a very interesting story. And then you think about, some people say that there was this Chinese proverb. If you wish somebody very bad, you say, I hope you will wish in interesting times.
Okay. These gloves are good, aren't they, Jack?
Sorry?
You got the same gloves?
Yeah. Yeah, for me. And both of them have stars. One had 6 pointed, one had 5 pointed. So here you will see crossed 5 pointed stars, there you will see 6 pointed stars. Which puts me about when the Israeli stars. Because I will hardly explain them, it's about football teams, not about, Israeli stars.
Yeah.
But it's about that, Wisła and Krakow. So here is, Wisła is there, still is here Krakow. Okay, so on another side of the Wisła River there's a Podgórze, place which was a workers' district. Never very expensive, never very rich. Actually one place which was in the parish wrote down, Podgórze, it's a nice place, but it's troubled by 3 diseases: prostitution, alcoholism and socialism. Yeah, the 19th century, so I will not comment. It's like
Papusha.
sorry?
Papusha? You said?
Socialism.
No, the name of the place.
Podgórze. Podgórze. Podgórze means underhill.
Oh, I
Podgórze
saw it on the map. Yeah.
It's this mountain.
Podgórze.
But there is a mountain there. That's why underhill. And as I mentioned, it was a workers' district. Not so expensive, not so rich. That's why Nazis choose to establish it again. This was the side of the ghetto. Now you can see these new buildings around. But this would be mostly this area. People have 2 weeks to resettle, leaving Jewish quarter, going into the ghetto, and on that bridge, which was also used in the Schinders list, that one which is the further one, then there will be Polish people going out and going off the ghetto. We're going to the newest bridge in town. As you see, it's our Lovers Bridge, the Medal Bridge. Romantic tradition from Italy came here also. But if you are wondering about these figures, this is exhibition of Polish contemporary art sculptor Jerzy Kędziora. They are balancing on the lines. They are really like holding the lines in 1-2 places, and the title is Between Water and the Sky. So let's go through the bridge.
So that's the original bridge, is it?
Sorry?
That's the original.
One of them.
One of
they're
them.
using that one and the one which was on another, but as you can see, the one on another is already a new one.
Okay.
So that one is from 1930s, as far as I remember.
And that one's from the movie?
Yeah, in the movie.
Okay.
Although if you take a closer look at the movie,
Yeah.
actor going Jews are playing in the wrong direction. Take a look at this TV Sat antenna. When Spielberg would have cameras from that side, he would see this thing. So he put the camera, the bridge is the same, but they're
Yep.
going different way.
Okay. It's a very, very long river, isn't it? Goes through the...
Whole Poland,
Yeah.
starting in the Polish mountains, passing through all our capitals, old ones, and then coming into the Polish Sea.
Is it the longest in Europe, or is that a Danube?
Danube.
I knew it was long, though.
I'm not really sure if not the Ukrainian Dnieper or Dnieper.
Oh, that's a big one, isn't it? Yeah.
Not longer.
Oh, probably, I know it's in Russia, but the one that runs the Volga is big, isn't it?
Volga, yeah.
Yeah.
So in this case, I'm not really sure. I would have to check it.
Pardon?
Church, but they were making it in that way, you know.
Is that Old Town?
No. It's like Podgórze. Old Town is here.
Oh, yeah.
But it's similar to Virgin Mary's because the architect was actually copying things from Virgin Mary's. So it's like Gothic revival, yeah? You come closer, there are gargoyles and things like that.
Yeah, I've seen a few gargoyle-looking things around. It's probably quite nice the group's not that big actually.
It is it's a better experience, you know.
Yeah.
My biggest amount I had in the Macabre tour, it was like in this Christmas, after Christmas, and there was 90 people.
Whew.
And you shout, you genuinely shout.
Yeah.
It's much, and also it's much better for the tourists when you have smaller groups, so it's more that way. As we cross through the padlock bridge, you know the custom from the padlocks. I think it's pretty much everywhere, and it started in Italy. When you had a romantic book called 3 Steps to Heaven, 3 Meters into Heaven. As a romantic book, it's completely out of my lecture list. But from the book, it went to reality, and from Italy, pretty much everywhere now that kind of padlock bridges are also here. And when they start to put the padlocks, when they open this bridge, I was living in the house there, so I saw how they are growing and growing. And it's quite interesting. You saw the holes in the bridge. There are holes in the net, because some people came to make a divorce, cutting their padlock. I know what I'm saying because one of my friends actually done it and he threw his padlock into the river, and it was very traumatic breakdown as far as I know. So when somebody's asking me if I have a padlock here, no, if ever I will have it, will be combination lock. It was painted during the Art Nouveau Festival by Italian artist called Blue. Maybe not yet Banksy, certainly the same league. And you know, I think it's a pin into the Polish people. You know, Poland is quite a Catholic country. And up there's one face, I presume it would be God, shouting or screaming something from the bell loudspeaker. And then you have all the same faces looking up. On the loudspeaker and bell you will see 2 keys and the Pope's crown. So it can be something like a... one more thing. Behind the cars, you will see it better, it's written never follow. So never follow the voice, never follow the Pope. I'm not really sure. It can be a pin into the Polish people. It's still a nice piece of art, which is rare in contemporary. But our topic mostly is the ghetto, and we are standing on the edge. There was a wall, more or less here on that side of the street. These houses were already included in the ghetto. Here where we are standing, this was closed by the wall, and the building which was the first building on the place was standing on the place of the parking lot. And this is the inside of the ghetto. You remember seeing in the hospital when Jewish people were, like the sick people were given poison by the doctors. This happened in this building. This was a hospital in the ghetto. And whole the story of the ghetto, I'll tell you in the place where the monument is located. Still on this street there are 2 stops which are quite interesting.
Struggling. It's cold. I think I'll survive. Something like that. It's -6.
It's going to snow, doesn't it?
Sleety snow showers, yeah, today. Don't know if it is though. It does look a bit, sky does look a bit full of it, doesn't it? I wouldn't be surprised if it does. It's cold enough, isn't it? Oh.
So it's good that they are not renovating things in Krakow too fast. And if you're wondering, these are shrapnels and these are bullet holes, but they are not coming from times of ghetto. This was Soviet army coming here in 1940s, 1945 exactly in January. Exactly they're coming from that side. Nazis would be defending here, and this is left from this side. Another small stop is on the corner there. The shot stop is actually that I showed you the place where the movie was shot. When the guy was putting the suitcase left and right. And from the diaries of the people which survived the ghetto, we know that it could happen either on this street or on the next one, because from both streets you have the entrances. According to witnesses, you have to crawl 3 or 4 hours in the mud, and then you live in the river port. During first deportation you will survive, during second assessments were waiting on another side. This is Ghetto Hero Square, and if you're wondering, yeah, exactly, this is the monument commemorating. Why exactly chairs will sleep in the Bible? Well, for a second. This is the plan of the ghetto, which is showing you how this area was small. If you've been in Warsaw, 250,000. If you've been in Łódź, 300,000 people. Here only 18. And we walk here, we enter here, there was no gate in the place that we would enter, so we walk on the edge of this street. This is the place where there is a mural now, and ghetto was not settled once and for all. When the Nazis were taking people, they were making it smaller. Actually, in the end of existence, there was ghetto A and ghetto B. There would be 2 small separate areas. This building was the SS guardhouse, used by the people which were getting warm, you know, like a social area. And they're guarding the gate number 4. The gate number 4 was just on the street, as you will see it in a while. Well, the gate is not standing, but it was exactly here. So this is inside of the ghetto. Many of these houses actually are remembering the times when they were used as the ghetto. I mentioned that there was 6,000 of Polish people thrown out from the area of the ghetto. Nazis packed on their place 18,000 of Jews. So imagine 3 times more, 4 people per 1 window, 1 person per 2 square meters. This is the statistics. We can move just a little. And you have never enough food, you have never enough water, you have poor hygiene condition. Especially the food was troubles, because Jewish food rations are up to 1,000 calories per day, and you need more than 2,000 to get back what you're spending. So it was never enough. You had a black market, but you had to have money to buy there. And at the end of existence of the ghetto, the price of bread was rising really sky high. So you can be lucky if you're working in Schinders factory there. On the place of this building, there was a small factory making binoculars for the Nazi soldiers. If you work in big confection factory called Madrid, when you were making uniforms for the soldiers, then you're lucky. You get more food, and more important, your ID card will be stamped with a blue stamp. This blue stamp means life. It means you're worthy to stay in the ghetto, you're young, strong and fit, you can work.
What, Blauschein?
Sorry?
Is it a Blauschein?
Blauschein, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Blauschein was a blue card, because first you had a blue stamp, then you had a blue card addition into the thing. But exactly about that kind of markings we're talking. So people which wouldn't have, in the case of deportation, they're in terrible danger, because deportation would be a process of dividing. Who can stay, who can go. always you would have assessments entering the district in the morning. One of the places to gather people was this square, another was Optima Factory, courtyard. These two places, Nazis were taking others. They're on the streets, they're entering the houses and they are checking their documents. If you don't have this blue stamp or later a blue card, Lautschein, it means that you're not productive, and then Jewish policemen brought you here. When there is a big group enough already, people were ordered to walk down this street, and then you basically walk 3 kilometers, and if you turn left, you go to concentration camps, to Auschwitz, to the trains to concentration camps. And I'm saying that they are walking through, they're taken. It's hard to describe the brutality. You know, this moment when you see the assassin's running around, shooting people, all these things happen here. Constantly, when there would be somebody who is considered elderly maybe, he could be shown by the assessment, then 2 Jewish policemen are taking him under the arms, taking him out of the crowd and into this gate. Many people were shot in this gate. One man entered during second deportation and saw their piles of bodies as high as the grew up then. So really blood was flowing in the streets. Deportations was like madness. Many people got killed. The last deportation was 13-14 of March 1943. This is the end of existence of Krakow. This is the moment when all the people are taken away and they are taken either to Auschwitz or to Krakow. Krakow was a small camp which was existing 3 kilometers from here. And if you remember Amon Goeth, the commander of the camp, randomly shooting people from his balcony. This was true. His house still exists in that area. And I think for a long time it was the cheapest drill line in Krakow. And now imagine what is left after people. When they are taken away, the only ones which are left, only people which are coming back are Poles. Jews are taken to concentration camps, most of them are murdered, and you would have first Polish people which are going around, looking, and what they see if they enter flats. Chairs, tables, things, plates, books, things taken away. Things of the people which are taken away. Things which are lasting longer than people, and they are waiting for them when they are gone, exactly just like these chairs. And there are 68, each one for 1,000 of people. 68,000 of Jews lived in Krakow before the Second World War. And this is the first part of the tale here. To talk about second, let's come closer to the building there.
Took him 3 goes to hang him, didn't it?
Sorry?
Good. Took him 3. That's what 3.
I can get it. Sorry, because
when they hung Amon Goeth,
yeah,
it took him 3 times to get it right.
You see, you're talking about the movie?
No, the real hanging.
The YouTube.
Yeah.
On the YouTube, there's a real hanging, but as far as I was trying to investigate, it's not Amon Goeth. It's
really?
a guy from Prague.
Ah.
It's a guy from Prague. I don't remember his name.
But they did execute Goeth, though, didn't they?
Execute him in Krakow in Montelupi prison, but generally executions. You know, after a few public executions in Poland, 1945 and 6, this was so disgusting that they closed it in prison. And already Amon Goeth was closed in prison. He was hanged in prison.
Right.
And usually you have just a protocol, you know, he was executed and that's it, no information more. So, question which I many times have from my tourists is, what about Polish people outside? Especially in the case of the latest things which you may read about Poland, it's quite an important question. So what about people which they're carrying or they're not carrying, or how it was with the Polish people and the Jews? You know, I would say that many people were very busy outside staying alive. They were not caring because they're caring to survive and care for their family. So this is one thing. Outside you have also hunger, you have also persecutions. Slavic people, Poles, are also considered inferior race. And you have to remember that Auschwitz in 1940 was established as a political prison for Polish resistance. Later it became a tool of the Holocaust. So I wouldn't say that most of the Poles were helping. It's always you have a middle ones, which are not helping, but they are also not helping the Gestapo. And we would have some small groups of traitors. But about people which were helping, I have to point out how dangerous it was. As for helping Jew in Poland, punishment is there for you and your whole family. If somebody knock at your doors, you know, he escaped from the ghetto, and he's asking for shelter for one night, you will wage it carefully, because this one night can cost life of you, your family and your neighbors. The cases of villages burned to the ground because somebody was helping. And it was not an easy decision. And this is another thing why many people were not helping. They're afraid of their lives. And in Poland still, even you had these worst punishments. You had the persecutions, you had 6,600 of righteous among the nation, which were saving others, and it's proven by the state of Israel, which means that they have 2 living witnesses, and they took no personal gain from that. And among them there's Mr. Tadeusz Pankiewicz, man who spent whole the war on the ground floor of this building. When you can see these windows with the white things, there was his pharmacy. Now it's a museum dedicated to him. Tadeusz Pankiewicz was a pharmacist, only businessman who say, I will stay here in the ghetto. And I think he was needed because even the master race, even the SS man can have a toothache. So in this case, pharmacy was needed. He could leave and enter the ghetto anytime he wanted. The same his workers, and he never came back empty-handed. You know, vitamins and medicines for free, it's already saving somebody's life. But now imagine that he has his contacts and many people get through him Aryan papers, through documents proving he's not Jewish. Pankiewicz also can protect, can save you, can help you with the hair dyers. You know, if you want to escape the ghetto, dye your hair blonde. You have to have good Aryan look. You cannot stick out of the crowd. And all these things you can get from Pankiewicz. But now the bravest thing, what he done. And there is a photo like that in the Schindler factory. If you're planning to go there later, you will see photo when the people are here sitting on their suitcases, waiting to be taken by concentration camp. You will see Jewish policemen and assessments. But again, if you're here, you're doomed to go to the camps. But there's one way to escape through Pankiewicz pharmacy. There was back doors, and nobody knew about it. When he could, when there was not too dangerous, Pankiewicz was letting people out, and somebody didn't understood his desperate signs, he literally kicked the person out through the doors. So he saved many people, and remember, one man caught inside. That for him, his workers and him would be taken here and executed in this place. He never hesitated, and he was lucky as he survived the war. He was righteous among the award the righteous among the nation title, and you know, in the movie Schindler's List, he's for a short time. Fair. Because in his book, Pharmacy in Krakow Ghetto, he mentioned Oskar Schindler once. These 2 people were close to each other, but they had no idea. This was a Polish pharmacist, Schindler was a German businessman, yet these 2 people were saving others. And you heard also about Jan Karski, the guy which was informing about the Holocaust. These 3 people, Schindler, Karski and Pankiewicz, I would say that they are top of the iceberg, because this is the people which have 2 witnesses. And imagine how many people get lost with the ones which get lost contact with the ones which were saving. And imagine how many names got lost because the people which had them died trying. So, you know, 6,600, there will be much more, not only in Poland, Germany, and many, many other countries. And for now, let's come closer. Which is here. For us, we're going to show if you're wondering, we are now looking at the outside. The building is the balcony, was in the ghetto. Then you had a gate, and we are standing outside. And if you're planning to go to the Schindler factory after this, remember, try to find one photo. There's a photo of SS men standing where we are standing now, and the part of the wall, and all these buildings pretty much the same, and line of people with the suitcases going to the train station to be taken to extermination camp. And that's why on the memorial plate in 2 languages, in Polish and Yiddish, is written, "Here lived, suffered and dies, just from the hands of Nazi henchmen, from here left their last way to extermination camps." You remember when I mentioned in the Jewish quarter, in the front of the Jewish graveyard, tombstones of Jewish people, the matzevas, are half rounded. You can see this semi-arch ending repeating itself. It's have a meaning, it's looking like a graveyard wall, and it was designed by Nazis like that as a message: you will not get out from here alive. Some people did. How? Relatively easy. It was not so hard to escape the ghetto. You know, sewers, bribing the guards, jumping through the walls. But remember, getting out of the ghetto is the easy part. Well, then you have to survive outside. Without documents, without friends, and I'm talking about true friends, who will risk life of their families for you. If you have money to pay for the shelter, then you can be lucky guy and you can escape. But if you don't have it, it's pointless. You will be shot by the first person, first Nazi which will identify you as a Jew. You have to be afraid of Germans and of Poles because they can betray you, and we had no government and no volunteers in the Nazi army. We had our traitors, so you never know who you can trust. And one more thing, take a look, you know the story of Anne Frank, girl which was hidden by somebody, later betrayed. Imagine that if you have a family in hideout, somebody have to care for the food, somebody have to prepare the shelter, somebody sometimes have to act as a guide and, you know, as a guard sometimes, you know, warn them. You need an organization to save one family, 10 people to save one family. How many you need to betray all of them? Only one. One is enough. So that's another thing. And here comes the story of a boy. This boy was a kid, his name was Roman Liebling. I think you didn't heard about him. His name. Roman Liebling was living close by, like when you see this house with the windows a little more on the right side. Roman Liebling was smuggled out of the ghetto by his parents, and his father found him a place among Poles. You know, now you're Polish, you will learn prayers and things like that. But this kid was missing his father. And he escaped his Polish family, he came back to the ghetto to meet his father, exactly at the date of deportation. You have to imagine a kid, you know, going from gate to the gate, and then you have people which are shots, assessments running. He saw his father. His father was in one of the brigades which was already going to camp, and this father just shouted, "Get out from here, run." The kid ran. The kid survived the war and changed his name. Now he's famous movie director. He will never visit California again.
Roman Polanski. Yeah.
Polanski was in Krakow ghetto. Polanski was living close by, and Polanski was proposed, would you like to be director of the Schinders List? And what he said, not in my lifetime. He made The Pianist, very good movie, but it's about Warsaw. So maybe not so bad memories for Polanski. And well, exactly from here, from the ghetto wall, we're going to go to the Schindler factory, when I'll tell you why you should learn history from Hollywood.
Hey? America for rape. He raped a 14-year-old, didn't he?
I don't know why. Maybe.
They're all at it over there, aren't they? Dirty gits. Preach to people and there's fucking... I hate Hollywood's scene, it's disgusting. Oh, it just makes me sick, mate. Oh, I'm not meant to. You can read about it. I don't have to bring it up. This is the end of the tour, by the way.
There was a Royal Air Force Liberator bomber
Yep.
fell here,
right.
like behind this building. They actually came to war surprising. They threw out the supplies, and here they were shot by the anti-aircraft guns.
Cool. I know the Polish had the most lethal squadron in the Battle of Britain.
Yeah, 303
That's
squadron,
right.
famous, yeah.
I think they had the most ratio of kills to their flights.
I know that they were considered a little crazy by the British instructors.
Well, they were effective, and that's all that mattered, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Because I think if the Germans would have invaded us, then God knows, don't know what would have happened. Because, you know, the Americans used us as a massive sort of aircraft carrier, isn't they?
Well, I like the... I've never heard that kind of interpretation, let's say.
Well, if you think about it, they put all their men there, they put all their planes, tanks, weapons, supplies.
Well, you had a lot of British troops fighting, you know, everywhere.
Oh, I know. It's just one part of the war, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know the Eastern Front in the West wasn't really much known about it before the fall of communism, you know. And I'm only just discovering new things about it. It's lots that you just didn't hear about. Oh, it was D-Day, 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 and it just gets boring. think there's much more to the wall than that.
Yeah, and I must say, when you read about West, you know, you have war crimes, you have cruelty.
Oh, here we go.
Still it was considered a little more, how to say, civilized.
Yeah.
And in the East, it was like, you know,
And
kill or they will kill you.
It's 45 years.
This looks familiar.
So this is the Schindler factory. Exactly, this is this building where Schindler worked, where he kept archives. If you imagine factory as the place when they were keeping machines, this was behind this building. So this is only management building, but this is exactly the place where Schindler worked. Let's come closer.
God, it's freezing.
Let's get closer, really.
I think it is. Zygota. Ah, that's the underground movement, right? Yeah.
Actually, this poster there, this poster is, there's a small exhibition about exactly this organization, Żegota, which was Polish resistance organization saving others. But here you have the Schindlers memorial plate. And here you have a very important sentence: whoever saves one life saves the world entire. This we're going to talk also at the end of the Schindler story. It's taken from Talmud. But most important, it's stamped on each of the righteous denomination titles. So it's always like that whoever saves one life saves the world entire. Let's come to the sides.
So,
Here we have some of the survivors. And many of you remember Itzhak Stern.
yeah.
You remember the guy who was typing the list? Here he is. And there is all his family, which Stern managed to also save many other people from his family. But if you're wondering if he was really writing the list, no. There was another guy. We'll talk about it. And by the way, also if you see Itzhak Stern in the movie, what happened to Itzhak Stern happened to 3 different people. And they're melted into one, and they are Itzhak Stern. On that side, you can see the man that we talked already. Leopold Ferberg. The man in the Polish army uniform, there.
Yeah.
This is this black market smuggler, exactly, who was collaborating with Schindler. But he also managed to put his mother, Mila Ferberg, on the list. This is the gate. What is missing here? It's writing Deutsche Malenwarenfabrik, German factory of enameled objects, which was the Schindler's factory name. So, let's come to that side. As it's a stop of the tour, we can talk here. Why I'm saying that Schindler's List movie is maybe not a lie, Hollywood. Because Hollywood is making a westerns. They are making movies where people are only evil and only good, and it was not exactly that way. Schindler was, Spielberg, had in mind the movie about fundamental conflict with the evil and good. And you know who was personification of evil? Amon Get, SS commander of the Płaszów camp. He is evil, and he's so evil that you don't have to change his story. He's evil enough. But Spielberg, you know, added, because Schindler was not such a nice guy like in the movie. What is not said about him in the movie? In the movie you may think that he was a successful businessman. No, he was broke. He got bankrupt 2 times before the war. And only place when he didn't get bankrupt was his factory, where he had slaves, So he was not a good businessman. He's even saying that in the movie. My business is presentation. So in presentation he was good, especially for the ladies. Schindler had many lovers. Schindler was kind of playboy, and if you see it in the movie how he's womanizer, it's not true. He was 10 times more. But one of the ladies which was working for him, which was his lover, was working for a very interesting agency. Soon Schindler started to work for this agency also. This was Abwehr, German counterintelligence. It is not said in the movie, but Schindler was a spy. As good as businessman, I would say. You know, Schindler got caught in Czechoslovakia. Oskar Schindler is a prisoner which will be shot for spying for the Nazis. But lucky for him, Czechoslovakia is taken over by the Nazis, and Schindler left prison, not executed, more. He went in glory of the men which suffered for the Nazis. So he had the Golden Party badge, he had trust, and Oskar Schindler was still working for the Abwehr when the war began. We see him in Krakow in October 1939 when he's having one mission. He wants to get rich as fast as possible. This factory was belonging to 3 Jewish owners, so he had this factory. He told them, you will give me your factory and I'll not pay you. No illusions, gentlemen, but you will work for me and I'll try to save you. And it's better because if no, you will lose your factory anyway in a few months. One of these men actually is Abraham Bunker. You can later find him in the higher window, like in the one of the lines. I'll show you in a second. So, till 1941, factories making pots and pans, and people which are working for Schindler are mostly Polish, besides few of the Jewish accountants. In 1941, two things changed. Schindler made more business with the Nazis, with the army in this case. So it's not only pots and pans after 1941. It's muskets for the soldiers, it's part of the munition, and this would be much more war production that you see in the movie. And since 1941, he found out that there are thousands of Jewish people which are in the ghetto, which are cheaper workers. Poles working here, he has to pay them. Jewish people, it's just the food. And 2 Reichsmark per head to the SS. So, in this case, Schindler managed to make a business with the SS-men, and more of Jews start to work here. In the beginning, they are leaving the ghetto, they are walking here, working 12 hours, and then coming back to the ghetto. Later, Schindler establishes sub-camp in this area, but that would be another story. Till 1943, since 1941 to 1943, Schindler is a nicer guy. Nicer, which means he's giving his workers enough food. He's not allowing to beat them. He's giving them cigarettes, of course, not like that, but he's lighting it up, throwing it down, and his people are gathering the cigarettes. It's a small help, but he's a member of Nazi Party. He cannot give Jew a cigarette. Till 1943, he's a nicer, but he's not saving anyone. Since winter 1943, Schindler started to do anything, including spending lots of money to save his people. What caused this change? In the movie, humanity, Schindler changed. In reality, I think Stalingrad battle. Far away in the east, at the Stalingrad, 6th Nazi army was completely annihilated. This is the moment when Eastern Front start to come back to Poland and Germany start to lose the war, and many people feel 1,000-year Reich will not last 1,000 years. And then people like Schindler, he was a member of the Nazi Party with Golden Party badge, start to feel unsure, and they thought maybe we will need lots of witnesses who will say we were not such a bad people. So I think Schindler's effort was not exactly humanitarian thing, but he wanted to, I will save you now, you will save me later. It was a clean deal. And first he gets his people out of the ghetto so they will not be taken by mistake, shot or something. This is the moment in the 1943 when sub-camp is organized here, and they start to live here in the Schindler factory also. And Schindler knows it's not enough. Even they are taken out of the ghetto, still one day SS can come here, take them, pack them into the cars and send them to Auschwitz, or just shoot them anywhere. So Schindler knows that to save them, he has to take them to the safety. Safety that he found was a place called Brunitz, a town in the Czech, when there was a small munition factory before the war. And Schindler took this factory, he proposed to the Nazis, if you transport my people there, then you will have a new munition factory. The munition was really needed. Schindler get these trains, and this is the Schindler's list. Transport list of people which will be sent away from here to Brunitz, and they'll have chance to wait till the Red Army will come. Schindler's list is called Schindler, but it shouldn't be that way because Schindler was not even here when the list was written. Schindler was arrested actually for black market activities, and when he was arrested, he gave the task of making the list to one of the most hated Nazi collaborators in the ghetto. He was a collaborator of Schindler, but he was also a Nazi collaborator, and his name was Marcel Goldberg. Goldberg in the movie is a Jewish policeman which have a white coat, and you see him close, when the people are baking potatoes, he's saying just few things. He's a backstage character. Goldberg was really powerful, and in many cases you can help him to decide. He don't know if to put you on the list, give him golden coin, give him diamond, and there are people which paid for the place on the list, which means that numbers have to be equal, so which means that there were people which were crossed. We don't know how many. I cannot say this person paid, this person did not, because we don't know exactly. But it was not like in the movie.
So they make out he paid for it, don't they?
Yeah, sorry?
They make out he made himself broke.
Schindler?
Yeah.
That's another detail which is not so sure. Schindler lost a lot of money on that, but not as much and not as heroic as in the movie. And about Marcel Goldberg, he made a lot of money on that. He was very rich. But I met a personal family of the man who was in Schindler's factory and he had no money to pay, so he went to Prussian concentration camp. And in this case, you know, they didn't feel very good about the movie. This 1,000 people were taken to the, more than 1,000 people, we have different numbers, around 1,098 people, were taken to the Brunlitz. They managed to wait till the end of the war, but before the war finished, Schindler escaped. And you remember the scene? He's crying, saying, I have a golden party badge here and I could trade one person for that. Trouble that there was no golden party badges, even when they're gold. And when he's saying, I have a car here, I could trade for them this car for 5 people, he wouldn't trade the car, he used to escape. Especially that some people say he escaped in one car with his wife and 2 lovers together. How? I'm not sure. I don't know. So finally what happened with Schindler after the war? He was not a happy man. His lovers left him, his business is bankrupted, also the one in Argentina. In Argentina having lots of debts, so he left his wife and his debts in Argentina together. He came back to Germany. And in the late 1960s, only people caring for him were these people, the one that he saved. Only people which were trying to, you know, they're getting money so he will live in some kind of decent level. They were pressing for State of Israel, so he will get a award, righteous among the nation. You remember that you cannot get the money for the people that you're saving, and Schindler made a lot of money on that. So they have to, I'm not saying he don't deserve, but they have to close both eyes for that kind of rules. At the end of his life, he wrote down, your life is worth something only when you're saving someone. And I think this was the moment when he understood what he done. At the end, when he looked at his life, and this was one of the few good things that he really done in life. His last wish was to be buried in Mausoleum graveyard in Jerusalem, and this makes him only Nazi party member, buried there with honors. And how to judge him? If, like I said, he was caring for himself, for his own money, or like in the movie, he became angel of charity. I think it's not important because whoever saves one life saves the world entire. No words about the motives. Schindler saved these people for himself, but it doesn't change the fact that this 1,000 people would be dead without him, and I think Righteous Among the Nation title was well deserved. More, I like Schindler much more, the one which is Playboy, which is Drunkard, which is much more close to the black market and underworld, because this real person saved more than 1,000 people, and let's remember him. Let's try to ask me questions. No radical change? So at the end, few things. First of all, how to come back. I have a small present for you, and then we'll say goodbye to each other. Also commercials, because I was not putting commercials, I have to put in some places. So we are the yellow umbrella free walking tours. There are other colors of umbrellas, but yellow is the best one. Do you have that? Oh yeah, I gave you. Yeah, please. This is the tours, our tours, and what you can do with us.
Thank you.
And all the informations.
National Geographical.
Would you pay for the tour or just randomly here?
No, I want to get in, Mark. Where is the ticket?
You have the first entrance, and there is a ticket counter inside. What else? Yeah, what you can do with us. After this tour, around 1:15, I'm going to do the tour into the Schindler factory. Unfortunately, it's not a free walking tour. It's cost 554 zlotys, which means 30 for me, 24 is the ticket. Ticket included already. You may also visit on your own, with or without me. It's a very good museum. If you're interested in the tour, it's around an hour and a half. Also, we do it 2 times a day. So if you don't have time today, tomorrow, my friends will also going to do it. At 6 p.m. also I'm going to do personally Macabre tour, the serial killers, vampires, and black humor tales. Join if you like.
How much is it? Ah, it's free again.
This one is free walking tour. So Macabre. This is a free walking tour. If you come, if you enjoy the tour, you may leave something, but it's up to you. The museums are usually paid because you have deals with the museum. So in this case, all these things are different. And yeah, Old Town, Polish part of the history of the city, tomorrow at 10, 12, and 2. So my friends will lead it, but they will not disappoint you, as far as I know. One more thing about the presents, I have to find it.
I totally.
Huh?